Yes, so beginning here, so at Yukon Metals, we're advancing three very exciting drill programs this summer. We have each property features exceedingly high grade and the potential for district scale. We have $17 million in the treasury, and our program is a $7 million program this season. I will be making some forward-looking statements, so please consider that. So as Christian mentioned, so Yukon Metals is the product of 30 years of prospecting by the Birch family. And for reference, the Birch family were the legendary group of people, family in the Yukon, and were the family behind Snowline Gold that have, over recent years, gone from $20 million market cap to roughly $1.3 billion market cap, and really have just developed this, I think it's fair to say, a world-class deposit in the Yukon. I think the words world-class get overused in the space, but I think they tend to have no meaning if we don't call something like the Valley project world-class. And so they've had a tremendous time of it. Snowline were the primary gold assets in the Birch family portfolio that they put together over 20 to 30 years, right? So, like, I don't think the Yukon has ever been more busy than it is now, and companies raising money and exploring. But the Birch really had a 20 to 30 year head start on the rest of the market, and so I've just put together this wonderful portfolio. Yukon Metals, where Snowline represents the primary gold assets in the Birch portfolio, Yukon Metals represents gold, silver, copper, gold, and critical metals. I'll just take you through our board. I think we've put together a really strong team here at Yukon Metals. Pat Birch is our chair. He's the former head of capital markets at Canaccord for a decade or so. Darryl Clark is a PhD level geologist. He was at ISO Energy for quite a period of time. He's now leading Ma'aden's exploration program in Saudi Arabia, roughly $150 million exploration program. Sue Craig is a recent addition to the board. Sue has spent 20, 30 years almost working in the Yukon with communities and First Nations, which is tremendously important to what we do. She's also a geologist, so really valuable. Dan Vickerman has been a longtime head of sales at various investment banks in Europe. And Jim Coates, who was with me here earlier, he's a Yukoner, born and raised. He has run his own exploration company and is really familiar with Yukon-specific exploration techniques. My background, I've been in the junior space now for about 20 years. So most of my 20 years has been in the junior space. Save I was with Silver Wheaton for 7 years. We rebranded that as Wheaton Precious Metals after we included quite a bit of gold into the portfolio. And we did roughly $6 billion worth of transactions while I was there, mostly in the copper gold space. Helena Kuika is our VPX. She's a superb vice president of exploration. And we pulled in Helena from Victoria Gold a month before they had their unfortunate slide there. So it was good timing for us to be able to bring Helena in. And also it was fortunate timing for us in the fact that Helena had been at Victoria Gold for 13 years and had taken assets from discovery through to resource compilation and had all of this rich network of colleagues at Victoria Gold. And so when that slide happened there, and they had to lay everybody off, we were able to really pick up the best and brightest, we feel, from that Victoria Gold team. And we had a ready-made, cohesive team, and were able to get a ton of work done last field season. And finally, Kaylee Gattens joined us at the beginning of this year. Kaylee came to us from Gold Corp. I met her there, and Gold Corp are a bit of a sister company to Wheaton Precious Metals, and so very valuable to be able to add her earlier this year. Just running through, having a look at the cap table. Roughly 50% of our issued and outstanding is held by insiders. It's officially 40%, but as Christian referred to, Keith Neumeyer is one of the founders, and Keith owns 9.9%. So I think we can unofficially say he's an insider. So 50% owned by insiders, and then really a group of superb investors, high net worth, and large brokers that own the stock. So we recently raised $11 million to take our treasury to 17 million, and 75% of the folks, 75% of this new financing was bought by folks that already owned us. So a real vote of confidence. Getting into the assets here, so we acquired 17 assets from the Bertolds, which is a lot. I mean, they put this portfolio together over many decades, and so it was incumbent upon us to focus and not be spread ourselves too thinly, either ourselves or our capital too thinly. So we really focused on 3 assets, and that focus came about by geologic potential, but also access to roads and power, and yeah, just proximity. So I'll start with Star River. So at Star, I'm not able to point here, but through the property, there's an all-weather access road. So I can drive from Whitehorse to site in 5 hours. And it's also accessible by Ross River, roughly an hour away. One can stay in a cabin very comfortably. It shows very well. But the geologic potential is outstanding as well. So at Star River, if you can see the rocks there to your bottom right, that's galena, and you can see the fine-grained silver there housed in the galena. We think this is the type of deposit that it's carbonate replacement deposit, I should say, that housing this galena. We find this type of rock that you see here throughout the property. So this is highlighted here by almost 11,000 gram per ton silver. For folks that think in imperial, that's roughly 4 ounces of gold per ton. And so very, very rich bonanza grade silver. So we approached this initially like it was a silver lead zinc opportunity, and we thought early on this might be kind of a Keno Hill analog, Alexco's Keno Hill, who produced roughly 1,000 grams per ton for many decades. And we were finding on average roughly 1,000 gram per ton silver, so slightly above 1,000 gram per ton, slightly below 1,000 gram per ton. But subsequently, we were fortunate enough to find new areas of really interesting mineralization, gold mineralization, highlighted here by a high of 101 gram per ton gold. So 101 gram per ton gold, obviously an outlier, but also seeing 9 gram per ton material, 7 gram per ton material as well. This type of rock is highly oxidized arsenopyrite. And so we see, if you can look at the top right of your screen there, you can see that the top brownish rock there, that's galena that houses the silver. Beneath is quartz arsenopyrite, which houses the gold. And we see these two types of rocks overlap in multiple locations, outcropping on the property. Gold was historically mined using quite primitive tools, and so this arsenopyrite is very crumbly to the touch, so it'll just disintegrate. And so that was what was mined. The galena and the silver is largely untouched. So at Star River, at any one time, we had 3 geos and 3 geophysicists in a nice winterized camp. So above and beyond the prospecting plan that we did, the prospecting program, we ran an electromagnetic program. And with that electromagnetic program, you can see in the center of your screen, roughly 400 meter across, white hot, large anomaly, right, highlighting this electromagnetic signature. And that signature there really corresponds beautifully in the south central part of the property with our highest concentration of silver and our highest grade gold. And with electromagnetic, there is the potential there for false readings or potentially to see a graphite lens. even though, given the state of the rocks, we felt that was unlikely. But we followed that up with a gravity survey also. And in doing that gravity survey, we found our largest gravity response and gravity anomaly overlapping almost perfectly with the highest concentration of silver, the highest grade gold, and the biggest electromagnetic response as well. So we'll advance a 4,000 meter program here at Star River. What we think we're going to be able to do here is drill through a silver vein right at surface and into a gold-bearing manto roughly 50 meters beneath the surface. So really achieving a twofer with each drill hole. And for context, I mean, this isn't just kind of this out there thought process of ours. Roughly 8 kilometers away, there was a Quetzal gold mine that produced. They built a mine and a mill processing. So it was a real company that mined gold-bearing manto. So very excited to get started there. At AZ, we announced news on this in January and had a really nice market response. This here, what you see on the screen, it looks like it could be a slide of sorts. What this represents is a genuine kill zone where there's so much metal in the ground that no vegetation will grow. And so here at what's called Chair Mountain, we discovered 3.5% copper 6 kilometers away from the Alaska Highway. And so up to your top right there, that's green stained malachite, and yeah, I mean that's what 3.5% copper looks like. And we're finding this along an entire ridge, 1.2 kilometer long Gossan zone, and we're seeing grade all the way along it. So if you look at the bottom left of your screen here, you can see the three highlighted by the 3.5% copper, but also 1.75%, 1.2%, really outcropping all the way along that ridge. And that ridge in itself, we interpret to be part of a larger 5 kilometer long trend, at the end of which Ron Birdall and his work there through trenching delivered 10.3% copper. So we're going to start here with a 2,000 meter long drill program at Chair. Then we'll do some of the electromagnetic work I walked you through at Star River. We'll do gravity, and we'll do induced polarization to test for continuity over that entire trend. And critical with AZ, again, is proximity. 6 kilometers away from the Alaska Highway, we can camp right off the highway and work this quite easily. And there's actually a trail leading right from the highway. Moving on to Birch, the third project. Birch, we interpret to be a intact copper porphyry. We inherited this from Sean Ryan of Ryan Gold. They'd found a gold and soil anomaly there. We did our own work very early on. We thought this had the potential for porphyry, and our work really reinforced that. So the top left here, you can see that's a copper in soil anomaly. Gold really roughly overlaps quite well with that. And then to the right, you can see that's a molybdenum soil anomaly. And so these were all very high quality samples that we took. We used a mechanized drill to drill 1 meter into the permafrost to get a really high quality sample, avoiding smearing that can happen at surface. So yeah, felt very, very good about that soil work. There is limited outcropping on the property, but what outcropping there is we found multiple samples of 2.4% copper and up to 14 gram per ton gold. So in this, you can see here, it's a kind of an odd shape. It looks like it has a fishtail, but across that 1,400 meters, we had gold up to 0.99 gram per ton. And so that's, I mean, almost a gram per ton gold in soil. And it's, I mean, folks mine a gram per ton in rock. So very high grade across that section. And so yeah, we will do 3,000 meters of drilling at Birch, drilling down to about 300 meters. We're targeting high-grade mineralized skarn, and then we'll test the upper portion of the porphyry. Thank you. Questions?
One quick question if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, we'll continue.